let's go. So the first game we have is BossRoss versus Ovechkin. It's gonna be a TVT. It'll be interesting. I haven't actually seen a TVT on this map yet.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. Do you know anything about these two players? I know BossRoss is really active in the community.
So yeah, it's just spawning at the 12 o'clock is Yellow Terran BossRoss. I've seen him. He's very active. He was in my season 2 team, and he's had a lot of show matches with players, and I've been quite impressed with him. He's been he actually won. I think he won both the show matches he's been on recently, and one of them was against Gorgonov. He showed some impressive plays. Not sure about Ovechkin. He might be going under a different handle than his other name, his CPL name.
Yeah, I think he's Eric West on the CPL Discord.
It could be. So if anyone knows who Ovechkin is, feel free to comment on the channel. So we have here spawning at the 5 o'clock is Ovechkin, a brown Terran. We really have nothing much to say in the beginning because it's a TVT. We're just gonna probably be seeing, lots of tank plays. It's TVT in general. We're not gonna see a lot of early techs. So we'll just.
I think like the most standard build of all, like opening is like one factory vulture with like a fast expansion. But I don't know. I really don't know very much about.
It's like because. I don't know, Terran have so many good units, right? Compared to the other two mirror matchup, you're gonna see a lot more variety of units. You're gonna be seeing vultures, tanks, Goliaths, Wraiths, even Marines. I wouldn't be put it past it, just seeing Marines.
Even potentially some battle cruisers, like.
Yeah, it's just a really good race, and it could be exciting if you're one of those people who like really long games and really and just lots of huge battles going across the map. So it looks like a mirror build so far. Not really seen any. I'm not an expert in Terran, so not really seen any difference yet.
No, they're mirroring.
But it looks like BossRoss is actually sending the first scout. He could be just very paranoid about cheese. I mean, BBS is still possible in TVT, right? I know it's not as good.
It is, but I don't think it's very common.
Yeah, it's because SCV is so powerful, right? Like you send Marines into the base, you're just gonna send them to their death. It's very committed, right? As compared to other, if you do BBS and TVT compared to the other matchups. But he's gonna be able to see a lot of this, and he sees that nothing else really. I mean, he sees a lot at the same time. He doesn't see much because this is TVT. Like the builds just go later than usual.
Well, at least we're seeing the first divergence in builds here. You see Ovechkin is going for a 2-factory.
Right. Hold on, are you on the stream right now? Can you tell me how the quality is? I'm actually gonna get my phone to log in.
It seems pretty good to me. Maybe you could turn your volume up just a little bit, but it seems fine.
Alright, let me turn myself up a bit. So, Sonic is commenting and telling me that my casting partner hasn't DC yet. How do you know that? I mean, this is not Sigrun. This is Shava. Maybe Sigrun's already DC.
Well, I was hearing myself, so I don't know.
I'm talking about Sigrun, right? And he's not gonna. So Braun isn't gonna be able to see anything, right? But he saw the expansion. I think that already tells a lot. That he's not gonna. There's not gonna be any kind of early Wraith build. If you see an expansion like this early, BossRoss actually hasn't seen a second factory, so it'll be interesting how this goes. 2 factory is actually quite strong if you set up a location outside of your opponent's natural. You can just like siege that bunker. But yellow can actually hose if he actually gets a starport about now. Nyx.
I missed it. Did Brown even get siege? I think he's just going to go for like a tank attack move with Marines and tanks. That's interesting. I've never seen.
Oh, he's getting Spider Mine actually. I don't think he did get tank siege mode.
So it's almost like a double factory build that you would see in TVP.
Right. Except a bunker is gonna be able to hold this. Well,
No, I don't think
siege tank.
I don't think the bunker will hold
Well, it's
this.
not gonna have the.
I think all those Marines and tanks will just obliterate the bunker really quickly.
Oh yeah, tanks outrange bunker by quite a lot. It's not even like Dragoon. Like you don't even need the range upgrade to hold this. But we're not seeing a starport. So it should be like, yeah, it could be a really great game. We might be seeing the game and right
I don't
now.
think it's even about the range. I think it's just about the DPS. If BossRoss doesn't repair that super quickly, it's just going to melt.
Right. Oh yeah, we're talking
Let's
about
see how he reacts,
this fast expansion is slowing him. It's just he's just a tad too greedy now about actually seeing what his opponent's doing. Yeah, this is over. Marines and tanks are pretty strong. You don't need siege mode, right? If you want DPS, siege mode is not what you want. You want.
Not in this case, apparently.
Well, unsieged tanks actually have higher DPS than the siege tanks, right?
Is that true? I don't know if that's
It
true.
looks like it. I mean, how much damage they're doing. That's why you don't see a siege push from if Terran goes for any kind of FD push, right? Here we go. That's the end of the first game. I don't. The only thing I can say about that is that BossRoss didn't actually see what his opponent's doing, right? He sent the early scout. It didn't give him enough information. It's just too early. I guess it was a blind. I guess it was kind of like a econ cheese that didn't work out. All right. So let's get started on game 2. This is a quick CVT. I was expecting this to be longer. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see, any of the unique... we didn't actually get to see any of the unique features of the map being showcased here because it's so quick. So for the second game, we have Fighting Spirit. I think most player... I haven't actually seen many player not pick Fighting Spirit or Circuit Breaker for their...
yeah, it really does. Every series, it's just Fighting Spirit and Circuit Breaker.
Like, if there's a CPL 4, I would actually suggest to take out these maps. I mean, I don't know. It could just be for variety of sake, or maybe block.
I like having a bedrock of
I guess
standard
include it in the map
that
pool, but like maybe block it for a week or two. Like make it featured every other week, but not allow it for like maybe second week or something like that.
Yeah, I think rotating maps would be a good idea, but...
Alright. Ready?
Sure.
Alright, so spawning at the top right is our Red Terran Ovechkin. What kind of name is Ovechkin, by the way? It is Russian, right?
I'm not sure. It sounds Russian.
There's a very good hockey player named Ovechkin. And spawning at the bottom left is a blue Terran BossRoss. Gotta be on Sophie, I thought. They just play Sophie. Is this? Oh, okay.
Guess he just wasn't clear on the rules
I think
there.
he's just kind of confused, and unfortunately, BossRoss had a AFK SCV because he was talking too busy trying to type.
I guess that's a good strat in CPL, try to get your opponent to talk.
Right, you ask a question.
Throw up their multitask.
Usually, you ask a question, it's like a one line question, but your opponent has to type like 3 lines to respond to it. So this is a cross position. It'll be interesting. Maybe like if BossRoss, I don't anticipate BossRoss will actually do his fast expansion again, but maybe he'll be able to hold his time if he actually does it again because of the cross position.
Yeah, that's true. He might get psyched out and abandon his original game plan.
Also, having a high ground.
It is Fighting Spirit, so he might just feel more comfortable and just stick to his guns here.
Also, having a high ground would help.
Also, it being a 4-player map, there's always a chance that rush distances will be significantly larger.
Yeah, the only difference is 2-player maps, right? They're always long. Whereas 3-player maps like Zofit, it could be super short and you could just die if you are not prepared. Which is why I'm guessing BossRoss is one of those players who are actually solid, but never actually played a lot of 3-player maps, and he's just using a 4-player map strategy that didn't work well. Didn't work out for him last game.
Yeah, I mean, even on a 3-player map, I can't imagine that the build that BossRoss went for last game was a bad choice necessarily, but it was just
right.
the scouting information that
he needed to be a little more.
He was just caught with his pants down.
Yeah, a little bit more cautious because of the distance.
But also, BossRoss, as far as I know, he's quite a new player. I think he's only been playing for a few months.
He is we had A team and B team last season. He is in a B team. He improved quite immensely because he was in the beginning he was actually quite bad, and towards late end of the season I think he was taking games off some good players like Probe King or Gorgonov and Chess, who's been playing quite long for a while now.
So they're both keeping SUVs, 3 SUVs on gas. So you might be right. I guess both players are going to go for more aggressive build.
Right. We're seeing two fac here from BossRoss, and 2 fac here from Ovechkin. The SUV is gonna get in. Yep, and Ovechkin is actually gonna go see this, right? It's weird. It's kind of weird, like that you see. Like this is one of the field matchup where setting a later scout would actually be more beneficial, because you can get away from some Zerglings and Zella forever, right? Your scouting probe. You can't get away from Marines, so you do have to know when to send your scouts.
So Ovechkin's going up to 3 factories now. This is interesting. I don't know how common it is. I mean, as far as I know, in like high level like 1 factory expansion builds are the most common. I don't know. I see Nyokin in the chat. Nyokin, can you comment? How common is 3 factory in TVP?
I really don't think it is that common. Like, because of the fact that there's defender's advantage, especially for Terran, right? Defender's advantage is so much stronger. If you have 2 factory, it's not necessarily weaker if you're defending. It's like, it could be more vultures, but would that actually help a lot? Like, the diminishing return on these units could be huge.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially cross positions. I don't think.
And siege mode is
BossRoss
coming up, so there's gonna be siege mode coming up, and I guess he has a window, but he has to actually take advantage of it now with like Marines and Vulture. Yep, it's Vulture speed coming from Ovechkin, so he's not going for tank. You can't support tank on 3 fact, right? He's going for like a Marine Vulture push, and it might end. I mean, it might end right here. If,
he's not even going. Well, yeah, he has the 1 Marine, but this is just like balls to the wall.
Lost the Marines though. This could be huge.
But like you were saying, look at the defender's advantage. Like, even with the extra factory, it hasn't actually kicked in yet.
Right. He's going for full Vulture protection. So once siege mode comes up, if he doesn't lose the siege, he's moving out though. He needs to keep the siege tank on the high ground. I think he could lose the siege tank to mines. Is there mine? Yeah, mines being researched right now, and even run-bys could actually deal a lot of damage. So I don't agree with his decision to move out this soon without any information, but I think he really wanted this expansion.
I think he just thinks it's a mere build situation, and because he killed a unit,
he sees the 3 hash. You should see the 3 factory now. He just ran an SCV in there, like 3 vultures actually. It's pretty crazy. All right, so I think Ovechkin needs to hit like soon. If he doesn't hit soon, this expansion is gonna kick in. He's gonna be behind, and the defender's advantage is gonna be too huge for him to overcome. He's doing the run by, like I said, like I suggested earlier. Okay, this run by is not gonna do much. But these vultures of the natural is not being defended.
He's even walling off his choke with the siege tank.
That's pretty good, but I mean, mine's gonna do if he doesn't. Oh, he hoses perfectly. So yeah, so now you need to so now I say BossRoss is in a pretty good position. He has a lot of more units, right? You can counter
Yeah,
attack.
but BossRoss is definitely sitting pretty after that. But the thing is, like, he still can't actually do anything to, get aggressive with.
Right, because his
So
mines, he can't clear mines yet. And also run by is still a threat with this many vultures, speed vultures. So he would have to watch out for backstab if he moves out. I don't see him moving out. He should just chill and prepare for the macro game. That he has a head start because of siege mode.
And I'm just curious as to what the mindset of a
I
Terran
wish he
player
would.
would be in this situation.
I actually wish he would make like a marine to clear out this barracks and just watching over his base. I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah, but I mean, look, his
Starport's coming.
barracks is in BossRoss's base as well.
That's true. So they both know this is like a ZVZ, right? These are like overlords hovering over each other's base. They can see everything. There's a soft contain being set up by Ovechkin here. Yeah, I like this play. It's really good. So because there's so many mines, BossRoss can't, even with the advantage in numbers, he can't actually push out and directly threaten Ovechkin.
Yeah, I mean,
In the long run, look. In the long run, this could be really beneficial for Ovechkin because look at this dirt. Look at BossRoss dirt. It's being mined as well. So the more aggressive opening here is actually paying off for Ovechkin. Like there's no counterplay for BossRoss possible like that I see. And he can't push up because of the mines.
well, from my point of view, like I said, I don't know too much about TVT. He's definitely at an economic disadvantage, right? But for lower levels, this might actually be better. That he does have the map control, even though he's at a slight disadvantage.
He lost more units
right
earlier, but it's BossRoss. He's not directly threatened by this because BossRoss can't actually do anything with his superior number right now.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a lot harder for a Terran to break out of a contain than it is for a Terran to hold the.
Right. We'll see if Ovechkin actually takes a third before BossRoss. He could come back from this if he just takes a third faster right away and build up an economic lead. He's also building turrets. Wow, Ovechkin is just being really aggressive with his positioning. I'm kind of hoping that BossRoss would do some kind of like vulture run around these, because vultures don't get hit by. You look at Red's base, right? It's not smart to do. You don't do this. This might just be game right here. I think it's gonna kill.
No, I don't know. I think he actually did a great job. I feel like I spoke too soon about being hard.
I feel like the better play is to get some more information first, right? Vultures don't trigger mine, right? You can run around through the top side, around into Ovechkin's base, because Ovechkin has nothing in his defending his base at all. Like vultures, like imagine 4 vultures running around into the base there. It would deal with lots of damage. It would just be probably shutting down his contain as well, because it would force units to go back, and then BossRoss could rush out and break the contain.
I don't know. I mean, BossRoss scouted the fact that he only had one factory for quite a while making tanks. So I think it actually speaks to some good game sense on BossRoss's part that he probably knew he had a huge take advantage, and he broke. He got out before Ovechkin really
have a
turtled up.
contain. Right, that's true, but I guess either work. I would prefer the safer option, which is to do a vulture run around into a red space, because there's nothing defending it, right? You can always break out when Ovechkin sends unit back to defend, but I guess this works out as well because he had an advantage in units.
The thing about the vulture run by, I understand what you're saying with it. I mean, Ovechkin also had vultures, right? So he could have easily just ran vultures back and defended.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I consider vultures sort of like Zergling though, like being in position and attitude. Even if you have the superior number in vultures, if they're not in position to actually defend your workers, they're not really there, right? It'll take some time for them to react. But these mines here, I guess, on the top side, on his third, would actually be able to see that if he tried any kind of shenanigan like that.
So this is really interesting to me. Are science vessels this early that common in TVT just for removing mines?
No,
Because
I think they just scan to remove mines.
I mean, you don't even need at a certain point. You don't even really need to scan, right? You can kind of just attack, move Terran units, and they'll kill any mines with that.
Right. I mean, defense matrix always go wants to take it. I mean, using defense matrix to clear mines is actually pretty good. Actually, no. It wouldn't actually like the 3 mines would blow you up even with defense matrix.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would
BossRoss
defense matrix a unit
realized he
to
can't
remove.
take the expansion because of these mines. So this container's still going strong. He's just slowly moving this back.
Oh, I don't think it's going strong at all.
I mean,
I suppose it's the right move to try to hold this position, right?
I find it funny that he's making a supply depot here as well. I guess he's afraid of the vulture. He needs to take the expansion quick. BossRoss is he still has a supply lead, but his gas is actually starting to dwindle down. He could actually move his entire army around this contain. I mean, he wouldn't do it.
I really don't think this is that strong.
It's not actually a contain though. Then I mean, it's a good position. It impedes any kind of direct line of attack. But like I said, another kind of like run around.
He could just collapse on this position from 3 different or even 4 different directions. It just I don't know. I don't know what I would do exactly in a Ovechkin situation, but I would probably try to take my tanks back and try to hold a position closer to my third.
Okay, Ovechkin's setting up for a 4th base, so he's been playing really greedy. He knows he was behind after that fail vulture attack, and he's trying to just be extra greedy. And I feel like BossRoss is just not punishing him for it. The soft contain is nothing. He needs to do something, right? He needs to either break out of the contain, or run vultures around and do some economic damage. He's not doing either. He's just letting this guy greed to come back into the game. Alright, he's got the...
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so he's got the science vessel as a spotter. I guess it's a little more reliable than a barracks, right?
Well, it's certainly faster, but I don't think just for the matrix or just as a spotter for units. I'm not sure that a science vessel is worth the energy, or I mean, worth the gas cost.
Yeah.
Because you want the gas to be going into tanks or drop ships, wraiths, or so many other units in TVT, right?
You're right. Okay, so BossRoss actually ahead in upgrades. That's actually pretty huge. Oh, he's doing the vulture run by.
He's finally doing the run by.
Yeah, but it's like, unfortunately, it's the empty base, and it's not gonna. So Red's gonna have plenty of time to respond if he tries to go for another attack on the base. Here comes the.
But you know that greedy 4th base that you're talking about is pretty much dead in the water.
Yeah, but it's gonna get cleaned up here. Like these vultures, there's a lot of vultures coming. At least able to slow it down. Being able to slow it down is still better than nothing, right? Like, I would actually move my tanks around and try to make a more aggressive push now. Because of the vulture being, like, I think Ovechkin way overreacted a lot of these vultures. Here comes another SCV trying to set it up. Like, BossRoss needs to take a 4 or do something. He can't be this passive.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he's really bottlenecked by a lack of gas right now, but he's just now starting to mine from his third gas.
Because his dirt was later than Ovechkin's.
But even Ovechkin doesn't have 3 SCVs on his third yet.
Right. But yeah, if BossRoss doesn't do anything soon, it's just gonna swing. This game's gonna swing against him. And the supply's already, he was ahead in supply the entire game after that failed attack by Red. But now he's down for supply.
We also see Ovechkin is transferring into BC's 2 starports.
It's a good choice if you have 4 gas, right? BC is certainly great at breaking a tank line. But wait, what? Why does BossRoss still make Goliaths? If there's no Wraith, do you actually go Goliath?
I actually don't know.
That's a lot of Goliaths, dude. That isn't like, oh, I'm gonna kill his barracks kind of Goliath. This is like.
I'm guessing what would happen if he scanned the starports. I haven't really been keeping track of the scans this game.
It's hard to see it. You don't see it on any map. He's taking another base. Ovechkin is going full, like, he's like a Protoss player. And I think BossRoss is actually playing this like he's playing a TVP, right? He's like,
I certainly think BossRoss could have been more aggressive with repositioning himself after breaking through the initial. Because look at Ovechkin, like he's even making turrets at what would be BossRoss's fourth location. Like he got really cocky with his.
BossRoss actually scanned it, but yeah, he knows it now. But it's like I feel like BossRoss thinks it's a TVP or something. He makes a science vessels. He's like staying in his base, like 3 base, not pushing out anything like that. And Ovechkin's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna play it like a Protoss player and take the entire map.
Yeah, to me it almost feels like BossRoss kind of got a bit complacent after getting his huge early game advantage.
Yeah, he got a little too comfortable. Ovechkin makes. I guess it's a risky play to be this greedy, right? But he wasn't punished for it, and it's paying off massively. So we're talking about a 5 base Terran now against a 3 base Terran. I've never seen Terran have this many bases. I mean, yeah, in TVT it does happen.
Well, yeah, potential 5 base, but he doesn't have anything at that 5th base yet, right? So yeah, it's hard to consider it really like a.
BossRoss 4th is coming up. This gas advantage is gonna build up, right? This is not like Protoss player. He's gonna have a base and he's just gonna make more drinks and a lot. We're talking about tanks and Goliaths and BC and all these gas units. It's very important.
Yeah, for sure. Now he has 3 starports all producing battle cruiser.
He's got the upgrade advantage.
Yeah, it's 2 armories.
I think it's too late though. I really think it's too late. This upgrade advantage is not gonna be able to. Yeah, he's gonna lose. And he's not so he cast a defense matrix on one of his tank, but it wasn't the tank taking a lot of shots. And this is gonna be.
Yeah, I'm actually stunned that BossRoss squandered his advantage so much.
I think he's respecting the tank too much.
Well, if anything, he didn't respect it enough because he just got destroyed.
Well, now he did. So now he already had a supply disadvantage.
And that wasn't even with the battle cruiser.
Yeah. Is there battle cruisers yet? There's 1. There's 3. So I feel like BossRoss doesn't have a lot of experience.
At the same time, I think Ovechkin is really kind of getting too eager here.
I think he doesn't care. He has BCs. Right?
Yeah, but there's no reason to needlessly throw away units like that.
That's true. I mean, he's trying to free up supplies, right? Just for those sexy BCs coming. I mean, everyone loves to see BC. Everyone loves to see Nuke. Actually, we forgot to mention, like, there's like a Terran player who actually loves Nuke and TVT. What was his name? He played against Rogi. It was like a really amazing game.
I'm not sure.
Kicks one out, but so Nuke is actually viable in TVT. It's not very common, not because it's so hard to tech to, but that's a cool thing about TVT and mirror match. Everything is viable.
I'm not so sure about that. I'll have to check that out later. I don't think Nuke is really that viable.
I think his name is Oya, right? His name is Oya.
I don't know, but I think if someone's nuking you in TVT, they're probably just styling on you.
I mean, it's better than using it against a Protoss, because Protoss has observers.
Well, Terran has scan.
So what are we about to see here? Where are the BCs? Are they about to come out yet? They're making their way across the map.
7 BCs.
So if you replace BC's carriers with BC, we're talking about basically a Protoss play right here. Like this guy just thinks he's a Protoss player. He's sick of losing to Protoss, right? He's hearing about how Naoki complained about Protoss on his map earlier, and he's like, I'm just gonna play like a Protoss.
So let's see what they'll be able to do. There's not too many turrets right here, considering
Turrets don't do
the
anything.
BC force.
You can
But
have all
no,
as
I
many
mean,
turrets as you want. It's not gonna do anything.
there's one almost down.
Oh yeah.
Was he actually target firing the one that went down? I couldn't tell. But if he was, that's actually
That
pretty
actually
sick.
went down, but yeah. But you're talking about like 7 turrets just to kill one BC.
Yeah, those turrets were not made
Oh,
with
here comes
the
the
intention of killing
Yamato's
BC.
stylish move right here. You didn't need to use it, but so Yamato cannon is actually so in like day game TVT, I've seen this a lot using the Yamato cannon to break tank lines. But in this case, he's just trying to silence. Looks like we've seen a base trade scenario here. It's favorable generally to the person more base. And also, this is the older base compared to the fresher dirt of BossRoss, so it's not an even trade at all.
No, but I think it was BossRoss's.
It's his only
like,
move,
it,
right?
It was a
It's-
good choice in
right.
this situation.
You don't want to directly attack in the tank line. You don't want. He doesn't have enough to deal with the BCs. So
I mean, I think he actually did have enough Goliaths to deal with the BCs, but he also had a stronger land army.
yeah. Oh, he has upgrade advantage as well. Yeah. Yeah, but if you just defend against BC's gonna run away, right? And then Ovechkin's gonna take more bases, and it's just gonna be one of those you can't stay in your base forever scenario. But this base trade is not favorable to him. It's one base for one, and Red has like 3 more bases. Not only does he have more base, it's like it's a fresher base versus an older base. Look at the mineral. If you look at the mineral patch, it's kind of a huge difference. Yeah, so right now he just doesn't have enough resources to deal with tanks and BCs.
Oh my god, what is Ovechkin doing? Why is he just attacking moving with those tanks?
He should be attacking with his BCs. And Unsiege tank doesn't actually do much against this. 3 Goliath. I mean 3-0 Goliaths actually deals a lot of damage.
Yeah.
These BCs are 2-2.
2 battlecruisers are gonna. Oh.
With Yamato cannons.
Okay, yeah, 2 battlecruisers from just those few Goliaths. But it cleans up the army at least.
Yep. So that's one of the advantage of having a air units that can bypass the tank line. Right? If BossRoss can't, they trade a base, but BossRoss can't actually clean up the battlecruiser, is gonna run away. Whereas BossRoss unit, it's gonna be stuck after cleaning up after destroying the base. This is what happened. There's a lot of Goliaths, but
Yeah, this is actually kind of strange right now. This army composition from Ovechkin. I guess all of his gas is going into the battlecruisers, right? So he's just pumping vultures. He has a huge vulture army and just a couple tanks.
he's got because he has 4K mineral and like only 700 gas. He really doesn't have much enough to handle support tanks and battle cruisers. Let's see if he's actually getting more gas.
God, and some of his battle cruisers.
Okay, so it's really weird. At 12 o'clock, you see 1 SCV on gas. It looks like a reoccurring thing where this guy, this Terran just doesn't put 3 on gas, and I guess in a more even game that could actually end up hurting him.
Yeah, that's definitely a big issue with a lot of the lower level players. Just making sure that you have like proper mineral saturation and proper SCVs on gas.
Right, but BossRoss just doesn't have enough bases. His 4th is coming up. I don't know how he's gonna defend it. It's so far away. There's like BCs around the map.
God, I really wish Ovechkin
I actually
would
think right
prepared some of his.
I actually think Wraith would be a really good play transition right here for BossRoss, because Wraith can just like harass these like side expansion, right? And if the BC come to try to stop them, they could just you're lagging by the way, Chava. Or maybe I'm lagging. The only anti-air that Ovechkin has is the BC, which is really slow. He can just harass and run away. Or even he's gonna lose these things. This is a wasted play right here. So I guess I think tank and Wraith would be a lot better, right? You'll be more resource efficient it'll be a lot less resource heavy than BC and tank, and Race can actually do fairly well against BC as well.
Yeah, mass wraith in TVT is definitely viable, and I actually really love just the way that mass wraith ends up looking in like game TVT. But he's just so
like Goliath, like
he's
just
so invested in the Goliath army right
you
now.
can't make Goliath and tanks. It's just gonna, it's not gonna be enough. Goliath is certainly strong in Race in like a straight fight scenario, right? But Ovechkin doesn't have to fight this. He's gonna win now because he's so far ahead. But if it's even, he doesn't actually have to fight it. You can't break a tank line with Goliaths and tanks. And I don't know what's going on here. It's just a stalemate right now.
I actually think in terms of army composition, though, just look at all the Goliaths that BossRoss has. Ovechkin
I feel
barely
like
has anything.
I feel like Ovechkin's throwing away these units. Like he needs to set up a tank line and just use the battle cruisers to break tank lines. To like so slowly crawl up with tanks and use your battle cannon to kill enemy tanks. She's just trying to attack and greeting, trying to attack with small groups of units without complementing each other. Like he did it with a bunch of tanks, right? And then he's trying to do it with BCs now.
Yeah, I think one of the big problems with TVT is, I mean, people in general don't like playing mirrors as much, right?
And
So he probably doesn't get as much practice, and because he's a newer player, it's like it really comes down to positioning, and both players seem a little confused. Maybe it's partly because of lack of game knowledge, maybe it's partly because of lack of scouting, but just like wasting unit, attacking in bad angles, that sort of thing.
Right.
Just approaching fights in general, and
well, it's a very. I mean, I don't play Terran. I would not want to be in this position. Just like you're ahead, you know you're ahead, but you can't end the game because the other guy's a Terran. I just would hate this kind of. And you don't have like drop docs like Doom drop, Doc Swarm, Arbiter. So even if you're ahead in TVT, you can't just end it. It's a very frustrating scenario to be ended. I'm guessing I know Terran players play it. Play this game. It just really, you gotta have to be really patient. You don't have arbiters, you don't have Doom drop, you don't have Doc Swarm playing, so you have to play it smart. You can't just be lazy and over-eager.
I mean, I agree with you in a sense, but I think there are certainly ways that you can end it, but
he's making a smart play now, right? He's taking out the expansion, starving the Terran out. There's no I win button. There's no like instant win button for TBT. You have to just continue playing smart. Just continue to press your advantage, not throw away units like that. And looks like BossRoss is really starved right now. He's only got one running base. Unfortunately, it's taken Ovechkin a while to win this game, even with BCs and tanks.
I'm starting to think that Ovechkin might have been better off just powering harder on a land army in the mid game, and then transitioning into battle cruisers a little bit later.
Well, Goliath,
he could have just made like 5 or 6 starports.
He could have just stopped making battle cruisers altogether once he sees the Goliaths, right? You use the battle cruiser for the Yamato cannon. You don't need him to use the fight. You just set him up behind a tank line and Yamato cannon the other tanks.
Well, I don't know about that.
You can do it here now, right? Look. I think he's about to. Oh, there's no Goliaths behind these. Yep, there they are. Yeah, you don't want to just do this. Like, you're gonna lose all your battle cruisers like this. There's only one tank. I don't think BossRoss realizes this. Like, army-wise, I would say BossRoss' army is actually stronger.
Yeah, I totally agree. Even though he's way behind in supply. But I think Ovechkin's economic advantage is just so great that it doesn't really matter.
Right.
He still doesn't have 3 on the gas at 12. It's actually really bugging me. And they're at 6. Or 3, rather. He didn't even take his gas here.
He's maxed out. I mean, right now he just needs to bank a lot and then remax an H-Ray army. He's so far ahead, he could actually throw away his units. I actually don't think it'll be a bad play.
Like another thing regarding the unit composition, we still see Ovechkin spamming vultures. Like, is it me or are vultures kind of limited in their utility at this point?
Yeah, they really are. You're maxed out. You don't want vultures when you're maxed out. You want to throw them away and get some better units.
If he would use them for anything, yeah, he just wants to free up supply for sure.
So now let's see what he makes out of behind this. He's making tanks. Yeah, he needs tanks. I think that's a good choice.
But they really are disposable. I would have liked them to see what what you were talking about earlier with BossRoss. Like just throw them in different directions of the map at like all the expansions and just kill them.
Yeah.
Like at least get a little bit of value before you throw them away, right?
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, like you were saying, it doesn't really matter. He has
I mean,
such a
this
huge
9 o'clock base is completely undefended. If you throw vultures there, I mean, yeah, they gotta do a lot.
Well, it's the same with the 6 o'clock. Actually, he could just go through that bottom right choke.
Right. Okay, this Ivana here. Snap block. Oh, here comes the Wraith. Yes, yes, that's what I want. That's not enough. That's not enough. It's a little too late. I think that's way too many VCs now.
Yeah.
These raids are not upgraded either. This is 2-2 versus 1-0.
Yeah, if he was going to switch to raids, he should have done so way early. Now it's just a matter of time.
You could actually use Wraiths. Like, I wouldn't use Wraith like that at this point. If I had those Wraith, I would have used it to attack the 3 o'clock or the, yeah. Like, 3 o'clock is, like, not defended. Even the natural expansion at the top left, there's only 1 turret. So you have like 6 Wraiths, you can beat 1 turret, right? Or maybe not, maybe like 9 Wraiths. Like, you have enough Wraiths, you could beat 1 turret.
I think 6 Wraiths could certainly take on 1 turret.
Yeah, just have 6 Wraiths, kill the turrets, and then pressure this. If you do like a Wraith and Goliath push, I don't think PC's gonna do much. Looks like he is finally pressuring this Goliaths. There's way too many PCs by this point. At this point, BossRoss just doesn't have enough of anything. Battlecruisers actually have 6 armor. It's more than when it's fully upgraded. That's like the same as the No2CareThat. Did you know that? They have 100 HP more than the No2CareThat.
No, upgraded Ultralists have...
6.
It's like 5 plus Carapace, right?
Plus 1. No, it's 5. They start with 1. I think Ultralists start with 1 naturally, right? And then if you get the whatever plate thing, they get 2 more. So you get 3 without any armor upgrade. And then if you fully upgrade your armor, that's another 3. That's 6. So it's the same as a battlecruiser fully upgraded.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
That's pretty powerful, actually.
I thought it was 8 for an Ultralist fully upgraded. That sounds wrong. Yeah.
Can you imagine if just 8 armor, fully upgraded? Like, Terran Marines would never be able to kill them. I mean, Marines, like, people say that upgrade is really important when you have, like, Marines versus Crazy Zerg, and that's why, because, if your Marines are not keeping up an upgrade, they deal 1 damage to Ultralists. Whereas if they keep up an upgrade, they deal 2. But that's besides the point here. We're in a TVT. I just don't know what BossRoss' plan is. It doesn't look like he has a plan.
Yeah, late game scenarios like this are the hardest for new players, right? Because you're not going to get into situations like this that often. Every time you get to a late game, it's going to be completely different.
And for him, I don't think it's very hard. You can look at the find that TT or the WT, right? Type this. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, but I mean, jokes aside, it's really hard to build up that knowledge if you're a brand new player to be able to handle situations like this.
Yeah. I guess VCs like this, I think that this Wraith having Wraith Rock running around would actually be better because they can run away from. If you have a small number of Wraith, not enough to fight the BC, you can always run away with BC is so slow. Like look at these turrets. He doesn't have a lot of turrets. Ovechkin has like none. Other than at 12 o'clock base. I would actually love to see like a Wraith switch way sooner before he lost those bases. I don't know what happened here. This base looks cleaned up. Do you know what happened at 12 o'clock?
I think he just transferred SUVs and then totally forgot to reset.
So BossRoss making a last ditch effort power play here. That's a lot of tanks from. Holy crap! That's pick. It's ridiculous. He just like lost most of the BC and then went straight for all the tanks. And he's throwing them all away. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's really puzzling.
There's really no reason for him to do this either. It's like he's not being pushed, right? He's not being attacked into. He's so far ahead that he doesn't care, but...
It's still no excuse to throw away tanks. They're a valuable unit in any stage of the game, I think. But, I mean... Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter.
I'm actually surprised that neither player actually did any drop play, but I guess the air-heavy composition kind of denied that possibility.
You mentioned earlier that it's really hard for Terrans to close out the game, and that's true, I'm sure, but we've seen both players just waste so many units. I think if they were playing a little more calmly and not getting cocky after winning battles, either one of them could have taken it way sooner.
He's gonna close it out here. He has enough. Yeah, he's setting up that scene. There's only 2 tanks left, and BossRoss is completely drained of anything.
And then again, still on at bottom right for BossRoss's base,
like,
he's had 2 SCVs on for who knows how long.
It's a lot different for us because you can see the whole entire map. Maybe for them they can't see the entire map, so the game state for them is sort of.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
of course they can't see the entire map.
Right. What I'm saying is that the game state for maybe BossRoss doesn't realize how far behind he is, and Ovechkin just thinks he's more ahead than he actually is. Maybe. Well, he probably. I think Ovechkin's correct. He could afford throwaway units. I mean, it's certainly something that. Just did it. Yeah, look at these SCVs. Oh my god. GG, man. Good job. Wow, this Manor right here. BossRoss. I love this guy.
BossRoss.
He's a boss. Look at that. Look at that Manor. Everyone, we all could learn from this.
Yeah, man. Like, I saw my first Weave Guy games earlier, and he left both games without saying GG. I asked him about it. I said, because they weren't GGs. They weren't good games. That's such a bad attitude to have. You gotta just be... It's not about whether the game is good or bad. That's not the point. It's just being courteous to your opponent.
Right. You have to... It's like, I don't know what the... It's like handshake, right? When you lose...
Yeah, exactly. It's a digital handshake for Brood War.
Right. Regardless of whether or not you win or lose, you have